from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A dangerous property and an alley right near a school and a playground. Neighbors in this community calling, "Help me, Hank."
All right, Hank, also, Chief Craig weighs in on a rough arrest by an off-duty DPD officer. His surprising response is an 8-figure lawsuit is filed in the case.
But first, the Burlington Coat Factory in Taylor turns into a crime scene after an employee opens fire, killing a coworker. Thanks for being with us for the News at 5. Right now, the shooter is in custody and police say the gun has been recovered. But there's still a lot we don't know.
Happened this morning a little after 7 at the Burlington Coat Factory on Eureka, right near I-75. And Steve Garagiola spent the day learning more about what happened this morning. Steve?
Disputes that years ago might have been settled with words, nowadays are often settled with a gun. That's what happened here this morning, and one woman is dead. An argument between two female employees that began yesterday resumed this morning just after 7, before the store opened.
This morning, before the incident really happened, I know Sandra had went to her supervisor and explained that her and this girl was having these words that they couldn't work together.
Shouting and name-calling escalated to the point that one of the women pulled a handgun and shot the other, killing her.
The employees were coming in for work. The store was not open to the public, and the employees were just checking in for work at the time.
The shooter waited for police to arrive and was quietly taken into custody. We're not identifying her since she has not yet been charged, but I did speak with her fiance, stunned to hear what happened this morning.
I'm so confused to where it still is like a state of shock to me because it's really haven't came to reality that it's really a true virgin yet.
Mr. Wade says it's hard to imagine a situation that would have provoked gun violence from his fiancée.
No, she's not violent. She no parking ticket, never been to jail, never been arrested. She never had enemies. She don't look for enemies. She avoid all the troubles. She don't need no trouble. She don't want trouble. She'd be the best person you want to meet in her life.
She may not want trouble, but she has found plenty. That woman remains in custody tonight, pending charges. Devin, Kimberly, back to you.
So, Steve, any late word on what this argument could have been about then?
Well, you know, the early indications are it was something absolutely petty. Apparently yesterday they were organizing and marking clothing and arguing about how to do it. They were both sent home to cool off, came back this morning, and it picked up again and ended with the gunfire. But just over clothing and how to mark it.
Wow, and the timeout clearly didn't work. All right, Steve. All right, now let's get to brand new information into that rough arrest by an off-duty Detroit officer.
At a news conference this afternoon, Chief Craig says the officer seen in this video hitting a man in the face with his police baton is now on administrative duty. He's also been barred from what the chief calls secondary employment. Rod Maloney is following this story for us tonight. Rod, the chief had a lot to say about this incident.
He sure did, Kimberly, and there are some problems for this officer, real problems. And let's start with this. This is how it works. Detroit Police offers secondary support. In other words, they have off-duty police officers who get hired by Meijer to work as support for Meijer security here. But the contract with Meijer and DPD is very explicit in that Detroit police officers are not supposed to initiate contact with shoppers. That's up to the Meijer security people to do. And yet the chief says that that's exactly what this officer did, went and made the first contact with a shopper. We've all seen and heard the devastating crack of a nightstick on David Bivens' teeth. They're all but gone now. Chief Craig tells us the investigation into this turned up Bivens doing something suspicious.
He was in the process of separating his items from his companion's items. That was why he was doing it. And would it raise some concern? The way it was done, absolutely.
Bivens' girlfriend Hillary wanted to bring back some items and she had a receipt for it all. Meijer security didn't even get involved. The next problem for the officer, the chief says he didn't follow his training.
Is there was no de-escalation on the part of the officer. Part of how we train and what we teach is you de-escalate force. If it escalates, you respond accordingly.
In an exclusive interview with Local 4 last week, Bivens showed us his injuries, including his bruised arm, and told us about what he said to the officer at the height of the altercation.
There was nothing left to be shown that I did anything wrong. you just continue to wail on me. And I just wanted you to answer why, to stop and think for yourself why.
We're going to ask the prosecutor to not charge disorderly conduct or resisting an obstruction.
So no charges for Bivens in this case, but what's in it for now the officer, the unidentified officer in this case? Well, as it stands right now, that officer has been put on suspension from secondary employment. So no working at Meyer or GM or any of the other companies that DPD has a contract with. But he has also been put on administrative duty on his regular police job while they await Kim Worthy's decision as to whether that officer should be charged in this incident. Back to you.
I'm wondering if you've had a chance to speak with Mr. Bivens since the news conference, and if so, what's his reaction to all of this?
Well, here's the thing. We called Jeffrey Fieger, that is Bivens' attorney, and he was with us last week when we had that interview. Today, Fieger filed a $25 million lawsuit against Meyer and the officer and also the security team that was in the store at the time. It's a 7-count complaint. He says it's wrongful detention, brutal use of force, and an unlawful arrest, among many other problems. And what they're saying is that Bivens' girlfriend had just gone to use the restroom when they went to see him. She had the receipt. Then she got angry and wanted to bring back her stuff because they were bothering Bivens, and that's how this thing escalated further and further. And then you heard that horrifying crack in the face by that baton swung by the police officer.
Yeah. Okay, Rod, keep us posted on what happens after this. We appreciate it.
Well, let's turn to the weather. Pretty day. A little chilly, though, across Metro Detroit.
Yeah, and after starting Sunday in the 70s, this was really a shock to the system this morning. Let's get over to Ben and get a check on your forecast. Ben.
Yeah, guys, believe it or not, we have blown through the first half of October already with these beautifully mild temperatures. So now it finally feels like October, and it is a shock to the system. But we did get the sunshine, which is now mixing with clouds. Even though we're on the cool side compared to where we've been, this is not too far below average for this time of year. Mid-50s is where we sit right now, officially 56 at the airport in Detroit. We're looking at these temperatures to fall off pretty impressively tonight with the clear skies. We'll be down to the upper 40s here shortly after sunset, and we'll be close to 40 degrees by midnight, and that is not the end of these falling temperatures. A lot of us are going to the 30s tonight, so we're going to look at the possibility of frost, whether we're going to be seeing that, and a beautiful stretch of weather ahead. More on that coming up, guys.
Okay, Ben. An unidentified woman is found dead this morning on Detroit's west side. The remains were found near Michigan Avenue on Casper. Police on the scene say there were scratches and bruises on her body. An autopsy will be needed to determine the woman's identity and cause of death.
In Detroit's North End, a shooting sends a man to the hospital.
It happened at the intersection of Woodward and Holbrook, where a man in his 30s was shot 3 times, once in the head and twice in the groin and leg. There's no word on his condition nor a motive for that shooting.
Right now, 1 person missing, 3 people still in critical condition after a natural gas storage rig exploded near New Orleans last night. Unclear yet exactly what caused the explosion. Jay Gray following the story in Kenner, Louisiana. Jay?
A blast of flames.
Just a big explosion with a rumble that shook you out of your own couch.
Followed by a raging fire 20 to 30 feet in the air.
It was just roaring and popping.
A blaze that lit the night sky over Lake Pontchartrain.
We saw it flare up, and I heard a couple of other, small explosions.
The blast swallowed an oil and gas storage platform, injuring 7 on the rig. Another worker is still missing.
This is obviously early, and their family needs the time to grieve, and hopefully we'll be able to find them.
The search continues right now from the air and in the water as investigators get a closer look at the blast site.
Doesn't look pretty up there, but there's parts of the rig that are completely intact and others that have been charred because of the fire.
Early indications are the explosion may have been caused by cleaning chemicals that ignited on the surface of the structure. Officials quick to point out this incident is nothing at all like the Deepwater Horizon disaster that dumped nearly 5 billion barrels of oil into the Gulf in 2010.
Well, I'm never going to say nothing was out there, but there is no obvious sheen on the lake. There's no obvious oil. I walked through the water on the bottom platform. There's no oil on my boots or on my pants.
Officials say there's no indication of a leak and that they've seen no impact to drinking water or wildlife as a result of the accident. Jay Gray, Local 4.
Yeah, the company that owns the platform, Clovelly Oil, says 3 oil wells near the platform were closed at the time of the explosion.
New fallout from the sexual harassment scandal that crushed the career of movie producer Harvey Weinstein. The NYPD is now investigating 2 credible allegations of sexual assault that date back more than 10 years. The Weinstein Company has confirmed it is in negotiations with investment company Colony Capital, and might be ready to sell the company. Harvey Weinstein has been stripped of several honors, and this past weekend, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences revoked his membership. The Michigan family of a Marine recruit has filed a $100 million lawsuit against the federal government in their son's death.
According to the lawsuit, 20-year-old Raheel Siddiqui was assaulted, hazed, and discriminated against because of his Muslim faith, and that still unnamed officials failed to protect him, including his drill sergeant. The Marines maintain Siddiqui took his own life by falling 3 stories after 2 weeks of boot camp. Chilling new revelations in the murder of a Detroit mother who was shot and killed in front of her children.
They say the first time you spoke.
When I see your wife, I'm gonna kill her.
New at 5, why one witness says he was on a mission to murder.
Also, a deadly crash sends an ambulance plunging off a bridge and into a creek. New at 5, what another driver didn't see that may have caused it. Hank?
And Devin, you can see a popular basketball court, a park here over my shoulder, a school here to the left, and I'm in an alley that's been a big danger in this neighborhood for a long time. We'll show you what's being done now to clean it up.
New at 6.
A wild case of road rage caught on camera. Tonight you'll hear from the man who was shot at by another angry driver after he was almost run over. Steve?
A careful driver should be alert on the roads, looking for possible hazards. But you don't expect a big piece of concrete to come raining down on your head.
The windshield just like exploded in front of her. She was covered with glass.
I'll tell you where this overpass is and what you need to watch for.
Okay, Steve. A vacant home demolished on Detroit's east side, and while the property was cleaned up and left looking good, the alley behind it became a cluttered mess.
And that's when concerned neighbors called Help Me Hank for a solution. Hank Winchester live in that alley. Hank, you ended up helping with not just 1 vacant lot, I guess, but 2.
Yeah, Devin, and really the thanks goes out to the Detroit Land Bank and the team there. Let me show you why this alley is so important. You can see it's open here. Kids cut through this area to get to the school, to the playground, to the park here in this Detroit neighborhood. But this alley had become completely overgrown, down wires, trees, and a lot of trash. Trash, overgrown shrubs, down trees, broken and dangling lines. This is what this alley looked like last week.
We need help with the cleaning and the moving of these trees and the wires.
Neighbors concerned because kids walk through this alley every day to get to nearby Butzel Park and also to the Garvey Academy School.
You can't get through there. Yes. You cannot walk through this right here.
That's when they called Help Me Hank. We got in contact with AT&T. Crews got out there right away to take care of those dangling wires. Next, we called the Detroit Land Bank. A crew got out there within a few days to clean that alley up.
And it didn't take long. As a matter of fact, just days before we did see some action.
And while we were talking with the Director of Public Affairs for the Land Bank, neighbors pointed out problems at a lot across the street. That lot left sinking with cement and broken pipes still in the ground. When we went back to check on the alley, that problem was also being taken care of.
We care about the city of Detroit, and so basically we're here. And hopefully with the help of all of you guys, we will see even more improvement, thanks to you and all of your crew at Channel 4.
Now kids in the neighborhood have a safe path to get to school and to the nearby park. And again, the team at the Land Bank really instrumental in getting this done. The big danger here were some of those down lines and the furniture and the trash that was thrown here. Neighbors now motivated too. They want to get out here and work with the crews to help clean up what's left. We're live here on the east side. Hank Winchester, back to you.
Hank, you got to believe there are a lot of people with questions about vacant properties that exist in their neighborhoods. So who do they contact? What do they do?
And Devin, it gets tricky because some owned by the land bank fall under a different line of rules than they do if they're city owned. But what we've done is we put all the information on the Help Me Hank page, contacts for district managers and also for different departments, great city information and resources. And we've talked about it before. I know you're aware of it. That Improved Detroit app is a fantastic way to get an immediate response from the city.
Exactly right. Great reviews all around for it. All right, Hank.
While the average price for gasoline has dropped 2 cents nationally in the past week, we here in Michigan are seeing prices soar. The national average for a gallon of regular is at $2.47, while in Michigan it's now $2.52. That's up 11 cents from a week ago. Locally, prices have gone up 8 cents to a price of $2.50 per gallon.
What do we do to deserve that?
I don't know. Well,
what do we deserve to do the colder weather that all of a sudden came in after a really nice weekend?
It's been really nice, and as Ben was saying, we're halfway through October, and we really have not had anything to complain about.
And this is going to be a temporary little bump in the road. By the back end of this forecast, we're going to go right back to some of these beautiful temperatures that we have been seeing and have really gotten used to over the last couple of weeks. Fort Live Radar has been pinpointing a couple sprinkles that have tried to work their way in here in parts of Livingston and Washtenaw County. I doubt that any of that really reached the ground, and it's pretty much gone now. There's some clouds out there that are focused, just a few of those sprinkles, but when you look at the rainfall total since last Thursday, some of us got really soaked. Everything in the green shades and above, that's where you see the 1-inch totals. In fact, there are some spots picked up more than 2 since last Thursday. And then you get south of the area, especially from Metro Airport south, and there's a whole lot of nothing. In fact, when you look at the rainfall totals compared this month to last month, most of us are doing pretty good. Metro Airport's got 1.8 inches, and that's double our total for the entire month of September, where we only picked up 9/10, but a lot of the spots north of there, you can see huge differences. Pontiac, 4 1/4 inches already this month compared to just over a 1/2 inch last month. Lapeer, whopping total of 3 inches there compared to 8,700. A little bit less of a difference, but still a noticeable one in Ann Arbor, 3 1/2 inches compared to 1.6 they saw in September. So time to get back out and, I don't know, chase squirrels, I guess is what's going on up here. This is from Imlay City out at the Sherwood Forest Farm Kennels. Beautiful sunrise out there this morning, too. We did see our fair share of clouds. We're at 56 right now, but as we get through the nighttime hours tonight, you can see those clouds are going to thin out. Clear skies are going to allow those temperatures to really drop. The good thing that we've got going for us, though, is there's going to be a little bit of a wind to keep frost from forming. So even though there are going to be some 30-degree lows out there, I don't think frost is going to be a concern. Metro zone, though, 40s, low 40s is what we're looking at. And down to our south, a little bit closer to the center of that high pressure, we're going to see some of our coolest numbers here in Lenawee County. Upper 30s is what we're looking for. West zone, usually one of our cool spots, especially on clear nights, but that's not the case. A little bit more of a wind here should keep those temperatures in the low 40s. And Lake Huron still doing its job here, keeping Lexington and Port Huron in the 40s, but there will be a couple 30s up in Sandusky and Sanilac County later on tonight. Temperatures getting to 67 tomorrow, so already about a 10-degree difference between today's highs and what we'll see tomorrow. And here come those 70s for the weekend. Notice what's missing from that forecast through Sunday.
Rain.
Yeah, not a drop of it. We got all we can handle this weekend in spots.
Oh, we needed it, so that's good.
That's true.
All right, Ben. Well, getting a hip replacement in your 40s, happening more and more often. Ahead in Good Health, why doctors say hip problems are rising in younger people and what you can do to reduce your risk.
But first, a horrible crash sends an ambulance flying off a bridge. We'll have that story next.
The local forecast.
Across Michigan tonight, stories from Cadillac and Spencer Township.
Well, let's start this roundup in near Saginaw. Maple Grove Township is where an ambulance collided with a car, sending it off a bridge, killing a 21-year-old man and injuring 2 paramedics. The ambulance ran a stop sign around 6:30 this morning, crashed into the car, then ended up on its side in waist-deep water of a creek. The 2 emergency workers are in critical condition. The driver of the other car was the one who was killed. Moving over to Spencer Township, where the search is over for a missing couple suffering with dementia.
Michigan State Police found 87-year-old Robert Frankenhauser and his 83-year-old wife, Lucille, 3 counties away in Wexford. Robert is hard of hearing, and he and his wife have severe dementia, which was concerning for authorities. The couple who went missing Sunday is now being reunited with their family. And over in Osceola County, a truck driver crashes into a ditch because he was choking on a donut. Friday morning, the truck left the roadway on US 131 and continued into some trees before it partially rolled and came to a stop. Nobody else was involved in the crash. The driver was treated for minor injuries, but has been released.
New at 5:30.
Nature's wrath, a hurricane that formed all the way in the Caribbean, slams the Irish coast.
Putting the fight to the side. Today, President Trump and the Senate's top Republican, Mitch McConnell, publicly praising each other. But will the kind words be enough to jumpstart a stalled Congress?
A mother murdered in front of her 4-year-old daughter. Today, harsh testimony.
He didn't say he wasn't going to do anything to her. He said he was going to kill her. Okay? He said that twice. The first time he called and the second time he called. He just calmed his voice down.
Also coming up, how many times the prosecution alleges this woman was shot.
Witnesses say he had a cold, calculated plot to kill. Brand new revelations in court against a man charged with gunning down a Detroit mother as her children looked on. We'll start there at 5:30. Chilling new details coming to light today in the murder of Latrice Morris Dorsey.
Dorsey was killed back on June 18th inside her Detroit home. Her ex-boyfriend, Earl Maxwell, faces first-degree murder charges in the case. Jason Colthorpe is following the story for us tonight. And Jason, he is headed to trial.
Yes, he is, Karen. And some of those awful details, we knew that she was murdered with her 4-year-old daughter in the same room, her 14-year-old son in the next room. But today, the autopsy report discussed and introduced, and it was learned this woman was shot 10 times.
Latrice Morris Dorsey had dated Earl Maxwell for about 4 years until right before she was murdered. Testimony today at Maxwell's preliminary hearing indicated they'd broken up and she was dating someone else, and clearly Maxwell was upset. Her estranged husband testified about a few phone calls with Maxwell.
What did he say the first time you spoke?
When I see your wife, I'm going to kill her. The second time he called, he reiterated that he was going to hurt her.
That was 2 weeks before the murder on Avon. Maxwell's defense attorney, though, challenged Dorsey's testimony, saying it conflicted with his statement to police.
Well, no, sir. What did I just say? I said, first time I said he called back, he said he killed her. He called back 5 minutes later, told me he wasn't going to kill her. But that's what he said. He said twice he was going to kill her.
Okay, but that's not what's in your statement, is it?
Yeah, that's because, let me tell you why. That's because my wife was dead, and I'm going through my mind crazy, okay? And you guys question me. I know. Go ahead, do your thing.
Let's do this.
But the prosecutor pointed to another statement, Maxwell's.
In his statement, claims that he accidentally shot Ms. Dorsey 10 times. He specifically indicates that he accidentally shot her in the back of the head, in her hands, throughout her body.
All with that 4-year-old girl in the room. And what you heard there, a word, accidentally, is what the defense is focusing on to try and get this first-degree part of the murder charge. That seems to be the sticking point here, including one of those shots that went to the back of the head, they saying was accidental in kind of this whole flurry of things. But again, he was bound over on the first-degree murder charge as well. Back to you, Karen.
Jason, talk to me about the defense. Are they trying this as a crime of passion because Maxwell allegedly fled the scene?
He did flee the scene, yes, and police also say he tossed the weapon. So both of those conflict with a crime of passion sort of thing. And as you also heard, that conversation, those threats made in testimony today happened 2 weeks before this killing. All of those, the prosecution points to this was premeditated.
Very disturbing. All right, thank you, Jason.
Very.
Today in Washington, President Trump and the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell seem to have buried the hatchet. The two have, of course, publicly feuded in recent weeks and months. But now, as they're trying to advance the GOP agenda, they say they're closer than ever. Blaine Alexander has more from Washington. Blaine?
Well, Devin, here on Capitol Hill, Republicans are racing the clock. They're trying to get things done before the end of the year, but their plate is already overflowing, and President Trump is continuing to pile on more. Side by side, President Trump and the Senate's top Republican, Mitch McConnell, appearing to put aside their very public differences.
My relationship with this gentleman is outstanding, has been outstanding.
A far cry from the president's message just weeks ago.
I'm very disappointed in Mitch. Honestly, repeal and replace of Obamacare should have taken place.
The softer tone coming as Republicans try to jumpstart a stalled Congress. With only 39 days left on the official calendar this year, Republicans tackling a growing to-do list. Pass a spending budget, a must, and tax reform, Republicans' top priority. Newly added, fixes for health care, immigration, and the Iran nuclear deal. Earlier with his cabinet, President Trump not hiding his frustration.
But we're not getting the job done. And I'm not going to blame myself, I'll be honest. They are not getting the job done.
And not disputing this declaration of war from former White House strategist Steve Bannon.
And right now, it's a season of war against a GOP establishment.
The face of that GOP establishment, Senator McConnell.
Contrary to what some of you may have reported, we're together totally on this agenda to move America forward.
Today, President Trump lashing out at Democrats on Twitter, slamming them as obstructionists, but still calling them to the bargaining table. And President Trump is calling on Hillary Clinton to run again. Today, he said that he would love to see her jump into the 2020 presidential race and predicts he would beat her again. In Washington, Blaine Alexander, Local 4.
All right, Blaine. Also today, reports said the president plans to formally interview Janet Yellen this week about potentially staying on as the chair of the Federal Reserve Board. Yellen's first term as leader of the central bank set to end coming up in February in the new year.
Well, if St. Patrick's Day is over the day for the luck of the Irish, well, today, exact opposite.
It's because a former hurricane hit Ireland. Ben is here with the latest. I don't remember us ever saying that before.
It's definitely a rarity because these things usually fall apart long before they make it up there. But this is a little bit different. We're talking about Ophelia transitioning from at one time a major hurricane to an extratropical cyclone, meaning it lost its tropical characteristics, still packing quite a punch. Very strong winds crossed the Emerald Isle today in what is being called by Irish meteorologists as an unprecedented weather event, especially given how far east that Ophelia formed in the Atlantic. Now, in Ireland, they communicate warnings by colors, with red being the highest. Never before has the entire country been under a status red warning, which was in the case for Ophelia. Winds gusting between 75 and 100 miles per hour caused damage, power outages, and destructive storm surge and flooding, also killing one woman when a tree fell on her car. And Ophelia did have a very long history. In fact, this is the track of Ophelia, starting as a Category 3 storm and weakening in some of the cooler waters, but it wasn't enough to kill it completely, and that's why they had such a problem up there in Ireland with this storm. Guys? Wild.
It's so strange. I saw the headline over the weekend and I was like, this has got to be wrong.
Compute.
I've never seen it.
And any fan of Shakespeare will tell you you don't want to mess with Ophelia. Winds are finally beginning to die down in California. I'm sorry, Gil.
I know.
The winds are finally beginning to die down in California, giving firefighters, at least at long last, a chance to gain a little bit of ground on the devastating wildfires.
Firefighters have been working 24 hours a day for the past week, battling those fires that have destroyed hundreds of thousands of acres all across Northern California. The recent weather change is a welcome break for the thousands of firefighters working around the clock. Most of the men and women on the front lines have been sleeping in tent cities that have been popping up.
After being up all night, we're going to probably end up sleeping in one of these dirt lots here at base camp, and we're grateful for any kind of sleep. We're not complaining.
With lower winds, cooler temperatures, and rain in the forecast for later in the week, California's governor says they're finally turning a corner in containing these fires.
Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl pleaded guilty to 2 charges at his court-martial hearing today. He pleaded to desertion and misbehavior before the enemy after leaving his base in Afghanistan back in 2009. Bergdahl was held prisoner by the Taliban until 2014, but released in exchange for 5 detainees who were being held at Guantanamo. Bergdahl was tried by a military judge, not by a jury, per his request, and faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. Governor Snyder is about to decide a punishment for the director of the Michigan State Police.
And the governor says he'll have an announcement this week on Christy Itu, who shared a meme on Facebook calling NFL players who knelt during the national anthem ungrateful, anti-American degenerates.
Now, she has since apologized. The governor has no plans, we're told, to remove her from her post.
I don't believe she should step down. All of us in our lives make mistakes. She was quite sincere in apologizing about it, and I view it as a learning opportunity. So let's all learn from it in addition to the colonel.
A state investigation is focused on whether or not Colonel Etchu's actions were in violation of the state police social media policy. Now to good health. Experts say hip problems are on the rise in younger people.
Some are actually needing hip replacements decades before their golden years. Kimberly Gill is here with a closer look at why and what's being done about it.
Yeah, we're talking about people as early in their 40s, guys. Many of those issues are showing up in people who are very active and those who participated in extreme sports when they were younger. Some injuries are related to overuse, others to a fall. The result is chronic pain and some difficult decisions. Running, jumping, walking, and sitting. Our hips get a workout every day. But researchers say hip problems are on the rise, especially in younger people. Younger patients often have a hip deformity or hip joint disorder, which may go undiagnosed and can lead to early arthritis. These issues have led to more hip replacement surgeries. Between 2000 and 2010, the number of hip replacements in people ages 45 to 54 jumped 205%. But there's a problem. The replacement doesn't last forever.
The hip replacements last roughly 20 years, and if it's done too early, at multiple points throughout the patient's life, they're going to need revisions.
Plus, there's concern about how hip replacements will hold up in younger people who still want to be very active for decades to come. That's why doctors are trying new techniques known as hip preservation surgeries to try to delay the need for hip replacement. They stress receiving treatment as early as possible before arthritis develops is important for a successful outcome. If you suffer from hip pain, see your doctor right away. That's right, and hip replacement surgery is also on the rise in older people as well. Between the years 2000 and 2010, the number of patients 75 and older getting hip replacements rose about 92%. So you're just seeing more and more. Yeah.
So what are doctors saying about prevention? What are we supposed to do?
Well, especially in terms of overuse, they do have some advice. They say stop running on hard surfaces, cross-train with activities like cycling or swimming, and if you experience pain while you're exercising, don't push through it. A lot of times you just have the tendency to want to just keep going. Don't do that. And of course, see your doctor.
We always think we're tough, and then we realize,
that is not a little increase. This is, it's really huge. Glaring. Yeah.
All right, thank you, guys.
Maybe one of the slower races we've seen in a while, but make no mistake, these guys are pros.
New tonight, how a group of waiters are taking their profession to a whole new level.
Also, a historic tall ship loses control and causes a lot of damage. At 5:30, how a simple malfunction caused millions of dollars worth of trouble. Coco?
It's National Teen Driver Safety Week, and AAA has a number of tips they want to give to parents and teen drivers to keep them safe on the roads. We'll tell you more about it coming up.
On Jip. New at 6.
Confused by the charges, the serious crime this man is accused of committing inside a Greektown parking garage, and the bizarre question he asked a judge.
Also, it appears college students are grossly mistaken about so-called study drugs. In fact, for some, they don't help at all. What experts say about the effect of the medicines on students who don't actually need them.
National Teen Driver Safety Week is underway, and a new report from AAA says motor vehicle crashes continue to be the leading cause of death for teenagers throughout the United States. The report shows 3,500 people lost their lives in crashes involving teen drivers last year. And of those people, 115 were from Michigan. Local 4's Coco McAvoy has more on the report.
A recently released report from AAA shows distracted driving and drinking and driving are the top 2 dangers for teen drivers. And there are a lot of people who would like to see that change. It's a cringe-worthy video showing the devastating relationship between distractions and teen driver crashes. A study from AAA shows 60% of teen crashes are caused by distracted driving.
Well, it's kind of heartbreaking to hear that.
Michael Krigler has seen his fair share of texting and driving while working at the Fairlane Car Wash outside of Starbucks in Dearborn.
They almost hit me all the time, where I'm walking past Starbucks and I look and there they are coming down the line, not even looking.
Krigler says when he was raising his kids, he didn't have to worry about the dangers of texting and driving.
I didn't have to explain that somebody might be on their phone or don't use your phone. You know, this was probably a time before phones were really popular.
But it doesn't mean Krigler hasn't been personally impacted by the issue.
I went to a funeral maybe about 4 years ago, and it was about texting and driving.
That's why AAA urges parents to set examples for their kids out on the roads and talk to their kids early and often about the dangers of distracted driving. Krigler hopes to see a change soon in Michigan and throughout the country.
Something seriously has to happen because people are dying.
Coco McAvoy, Local 4.
AAA suggests parents monitor their teens' driving activity, enroll them in a driver education program, and help them practice in varying weather conditions. That's very important as well.